start to our journey through historical northern Taiwan, a stroll through Taipei County's Sanxia feels like walking through a movie set depicting the 1920s. I don't think Nicky, the photographer, is going to be able to resist taking a snap every 30 seconds.
I brought you here to Sanxia's historical city because I think this is a photographer's paradise.
It's a heaven for photographers.
Yeah.
The light is beautiful, right?
The lighting and then the architecture too. It's kind of a combination of three different eras. This area was built in around 1916, and that's when the Japanese occupied Taiwan. But then they also used the Baroque Western style for the buildings. And then if you notice, like on some of the tops of these buildings, if they have something like that, that's actually the Japanese symbol. I think it was a military symbol. But if you have something like that on the carved on the top, that means you're considered wealthy. If you notice, some of them are empty; they're just flat boards. And something like that, that's like I'm wealthy. Yeah.
Don't mess with me.
Right. I'm very rich. So yeah, the whole street is preserved very well. It's almost over 100 years old.
In addition to the old architecture, some industries, despite having lost their previous luster, are still maintained today. One of those traditional industries is dyeing cloth. Fabrics are one of the industries that contributed to Taiwan's economic miracle, and Sanxia used to be at the heart of the trade.
So here in Sanxia, a very traditional kind of handicraft was to dye cloth.
Right.
They use indigo. See, the area around here is 90% mountains. And they found a lot of these wild indigo leaves, and you could use that to dye the cloth like a really nice blue color. Because we're really close to the Sanxia River, they would send the cloth that they'd finished to, the Damsui River.
And thus, the cloth found its way to the rest of the world. Now, it sounds easy, but Nicky's about to see just how messy the situation can get. As a photographer, he should be used to getting his hands dirty in the darkroom, but I'm eager to see if he can handle tie-dyeing, Sanxia style.
你好，谢谢，这是我的朋友。
老师你好，
Nicky。
我是 Nicky， 你好。
他是新加坡人，然后没有看过这个染布，所以我想可以给他体验一下下。
那我们等一下一个人一条手帕。好，那我会跟你讲说，怎么样折布，它就会产生不同的图案出来。
Have you ever done tie-dyeing T-shirts when you were a
I can tell you
kid?
something. When I took art classes in school, I always got smacked by the teacher.
Why?
Said, this is a monstrosity that you do.
Well, here there's no such thing as monstrosity. There's no such thing as a mistake.
Art is always subjective, right? So
Right.
I think the similar thing about dyeing cloth and printing photos is that you both put things inside this liquid and something extraordinary comes out of all of it. And then you look at it and you wonder, this is my creation. It's not an easy thing, but enjoyable. So because you never know what comes out of your design, I placed for me everything I did was everywhere. It's all messy, and then it just came out like this beautiful pattern. So it's interesting, I've never experienced anything like that. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Not bad, not bad. Wow, that's actually quite nice. What do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah,
For your first attempt?
So how much you want to buy this for?
We'll see after it's dried.
It's kind of good, right?
Yeah, no, honestly, I think it looks quite nice.
Yeah, so $10.
What are you trying to sell it to me already? I have my own. Let's see what mine looks like.
I'll buy yours for $5. You give me $5 and I give you $5.
Are all Singaporeans this good at bargaining?
We all think about money all the time.
Okay. So it's kind of like being in a dark room when you have two pictures, but you don't really know what it's going to turn out to be like.
This is a little bit more difficult, but I'm quite surprised at how my piece of work turned out. It's artistic in a sense. It's special. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like yours too. Yours is very nice.
I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is that you don't know what things turn out to be when you put it on, right? Like this could be the chopstick or this could be the stone or something.
Yeah. So that's the fun part.
It's amazing.
I agree. Amazing.
If it's history Nicky wants to photograph, it's history he'll get. Damsui on Taiwan's northwest coast, 40-minute drive from Taipei, home to one of the oldest, most historied, and allegedly haunted buildings in Taiwan, Fort San Domingo. A fort was first built here by Spanish settlers in 1629, but the fort we see today was built by the Dutch in 1944 after they had driven out the Spanish. The locals dubbed the fort the Red Hair Fort, Hongmaozhen, after the unfamiliar brown and blonde locks of the Dutch, and it is still commonly called that today. What used to be a prime location for scouting and fortifying the treasures of Taiwan, now this fort has photographers fighting for the best shot. Picture, that is.
It was one of their most important ports between all of Europe and all of Asia. It was really, really important. And they chose this area because, I mean, as you can see, you look out and it's just all of Damsui. That's the main entrance. And they used to go all the way into Taipei.
This of Damsui, the fort, it's amazing. It's all red and really reminds me of some of the architecture we have in Singapore back in when the English used to be in Singapore. So yeah, I love this place. You know, it's a little bit of history, and we all love history. So it's huge, lots of rooms. I could get lost anywhere.
So this is the inside of Fort Domingo, and it kind of looks like a prison, right? When the Spanish and the Dutch were here, they used to use it as a detention center for their personal citizens who had done something wrong. From 1972 to about 1980, when it belonged to nobody, the locals would just use the space as a living area. So a lot of ghost stories originated because of that. Here, come in.
During the 70s, one of these cells was in fact converted into a dark room, after which became the source of some of those ghost stories. Children were banned from the room for fear they might break something, but they were never told why. Rumors of a forbidden room soon spread throughout the town. But enough ghost stories. I now take Nicky down to the Damsui River. In keeping with our historical theme, Nicky and I ride on the Huanghou Hao, a replica of the old paddle wheel steamboats which used to sail the Mississippi River.
When I was young, my mom would take me, Sentosa, that's part of Singapore, and the ferry rides would be about 10 minutes or so, but you know, you being young, those 10 minutes were the longest time of your life, and you think that you're going overseas because you spend so much time on the boat. So going on that cruise was like a warm, fuzzy feeling, you know, it reminded me of my mom. It feels like home, you know, sometimes, because you see rivers and waters everywhere.
After our exertions, Nicky and I slow things down with a spot of afternoon Tai Chi. Don't go away.